Arthur Garza, and I'm the Vice President of AMHO. And before we begin, I have a mandatory disclosure. This meeting is a private forum created specifically for manufactured home park tenants and allies. This space is not intended for park owners, park management, or their legal representatives. If you are here in a park owner or representative capacity, we ask that you disconnect now. This is a resident-only space designed for the private discussion of our community goals and advocacy. For the benefit of our members who could not join us live tonight, please be aware that this session is being recorded and we'll be posting the video to the AMHO website in the coming days. Tonight's meeting is designed to be a fast-paced introduction to ensure we respect everyone's time and stay on track. All participants will remain muted for the duration of the presentation, and you will hear from each member of the board of directors who will provide a brief statement on their role and the work they are doing for you. Our goal tonight is to give you a clear look at the new AMHO and the modern direction we are taking for 2026. We do want to hear from you. While we won't be doing an open mic session tonight, we encourage you to submit your questions through the Zoom chat during this meeting. And to do this, you'll go down to the bottom of your taskbar, click the chat icon at the bottom of your screen, and in that chat window where it says "to," you will need to select Bill Hardy from the list. Bill is our designated chat monitor this evening, and once you select Bill, you can type your question. The message will come directly and privately to Bill. No one else in the room will see your question. Bill will be collecting your questions throughout the meeting, and we will do our best to answer the top 5 questions live at the end of the session. If we don't get to your specific question tonight, don't worry. We are saving the entire chat log. We will be articulating detailed answers for all remaining questions and posting them on our website alongside the meeting recording. This is just the beginning. Moving forward, AMHO will be hosting more of these town halls along with specialized classes and training sessions to help you exercise your rights. Should you need to get in touch with any of us at any time, you can find our toll-free number, direct email, and contact form all in one place at www.wamho.org. Now, at this time, I'd like to take a little time out to read our mission statement. And our mission statement for AMHO is to promote, represent, protect, and enhance the rights and interests of manufactured homeowners in the state of Washington through communication, education, negotiation, and preservation to our communities. And without further delay, I'd like to introduce our first speaker tonight. Please welcome our board president, Dick Sims.
Good evening. I'm not going in the center of the picture here. I'm not sure what's going on. But anyway, I am the president. My name is Dick Sims. I'm glad you are here. It takes a lot of guts to make it out on a Saturday night. I realize that. And you guys are very special to us because you actually made our meeting. We have a very large job ahead of us. There is 1,500 communities in the state of Washington. That's an approximate number. It changes daily. And there's 69,000 residents in the state of Washington that live in a manufactured home. And so what I'm going to say is if you think that you'd like to be part of our organization, you are part of our organization, but if you'd like to be an active part of our organization, we invite you to let us know. We got all our different offices are open. We have several openings for directors. We have openings for people on committees. We have openings that are very good at certain things, like say, Facebook, for instance. is we have a Facebook committee and we have openings on that. So we have a lot of different things going on. We do have an annual meeting. Sharon will be talking about that later. We all come and meet together, and I'll go on to what my spiel is because I've got a little off track here. Many park managers make rules, and you do not do what they ask. They threaten you, often with eviction. I think some of you have had some of these managers. I had one myself. They can evict you if you're late on your rent. Evictions are expensive for landlords. It costs about $5,000 to evict somebody. So even though the park manager wants to get rid of you, the landlord often tells him that ain't going to happen. Also, it's illegal to get into your Social Security account if it does go to court. Just remember that they can't touch your Social Security account. So anyway, what I've got here is just a quick synopsis of what RCW 5920 45.045 says. It's about rules, and it's very interesting. It says the purpose is to promote the convenience, health, safety, or welfare of the residents. And number two, protect and preserve the, can't read my own hand typing here, from abusive, from abusive use. Make a fair distribution of services and facilities for tenants. They are reasonably related to what their purpose was. They apply to all tenants in a fair manner. They are not for the purpose of evading an obligation of the landlord. They are not retaliatory in nature. Tenants must be provided with at least a 30-day notice when they decide to change the rule. I've had landlords like this before. They make the rules up daily. That isn't allowed. The tenants must be provided with at least a 30-day notice, and then once the rule is established, it's 3 months before they can enforce the rules. And so they can tell you that you violated the rule, but they cannot enforce the rule. Now, the second part is, what do you do when this happens? And many of these managers do make rules, but they do not know what they ask you with. This, something's wrong here. But anyway, I'll go on. What actions you can take. First, ask the rule violation be in writing, or ask for the rule violation in writing. Two, keep track of all the correspondence between you and the park manager. Respond in email or registered letter to your park. File a complaint with the Washington Attorney General's office. If you are a senior, Northwest Justice might take your case regardless of your income. And last, AMHO cannot give you legal advice, but we can give you legal information. We can tell you what the law says, and we can't interpret it for you. But right now, we also will try to help you find a lawyer. They're hard to find for manufactured home owners. And we'll assist in helping you make an Attorney General's complaint. Now I'm going to turn the meeting over to Sharon, or not Sharon, but Lori, excuse me.
Hi, I'm Lori, a member of the Board of Directors and your treasurer. I'd like to introduce the other member of the Finance Committee. Tina is an accredited grant writer among many other areas of expertise, and although she couldn't be here tonight, her presence and her effectiveness are felt nonetheless. Why AMHO for me? As a widow, I bought a very inexpensive 54-year-old mobile home in a park last August. Now I'm actively challenging a small section of the RCW, Revenue Code of Washington, same one that Dick mentioned, 5920, but this is Section 380, which allows a select handful of mobile home park owners to benefit greatly. When we buy a mobile home in a park, they are permitted to raise the space rent on thousands of us, tens of thousands in an unlimited amount. The park owners at my place and just about everywhere else are trying to coordinate acceptance of a 100% increase overnight. Under House Bill 1217, that's the amount it would ordinarily increase in 15 years. Now, I'm paying my former rent plus 5% as the House bill instructs. I believe this is the right thing to do, especially so in light of the purpose statement of the bill, which begins with improving housing stability for tenants. I believe the RCW is just plain wrong, and as I wasn't served proper notice, will pay $13.50 a month when legally compelled to do so. Why treasurer? I'm a retired CPA with a practice emphasis in internal audit and continuous process improvement. As such, in late 2025, I conducted a thorough internal audit of our financial records. I also completely rebuilt the financial statements based on Tina's ability to identify accounts that are program expenses. Why is that important? Program expenses in a nonprofit organization represent the stuff we do to help you. As such, they are tracked in a separate section on the P&L. Now, readers like you can easily identify the resources that are being spent on investment in manufactured home communities across Washington, like yours and mine. I'm pleased to report that as of this writing in 2026, we have spent 5 times as much on programs and projects as we have on overhead. It is these that you'll be hearing about tonight. This year, AMHO received a $33,000 grant from Catholic Charities for infrastructure and outreach as a result of Tina's grant writing expertise. Our total budget for 2026 is less than $38,000. With membership fees, this means that we can do a little better than break even. We may not even have to touch our cash reserves for the programs you'll be hearing about. Now, any cash we have to invest, we can do so in a 100% safe investment account. This will protect AMHO's future, secure our organizational growth needs, and most of all, protect your interests. At this time, we are actively seeking corporate sponsors, friends of AMHO who will stand in the gap since grants are never guaranteed. With extra funds, we can provide extra services. Please stay tuned for our email address to send in your ideas. Meanwhile, budgeted spending will be the topic for our remaining speakers, and now I'll turn it over to Arthur.
Hello, my name is Arthur, and I'm the Vice President of AMHO, and I'm also their Spanish interpreter. I joined AMHO 2 years ago, and I've had the privilege to work along a very inspiring team and a group of wonderful people that we all share the same interest in education and advocacy. In some of my roles as vice president, I'm kind of oversee the membership committee. And what that entails is, we work on different strategies, to include member recruitment, to increase the AMHO membership annually. And it's just important because we're strength in numbers. Community, organizations and outreach. What I do also is I go out to different communities I live in the Yakima area, so it's central Washington. So I'm close to Moxie, Prosser, Ellensburg, Tri-Cities. And I do a little driving and go out to these communities and work with the community leaders or individuals that are interested in more of knowing more about their rights and who can they make their outreach to, who can they communicate, and that's AMHO. Um, I'm really excited this year because we are taking leaps and bounds into the future with new modernizations with our website platforms and also with our membership outreach, which I feel is very crucial to our mission and standing up for our rights. This is something that was very dear to me when I first moved here in 2000 and I want to say it was 2016. Yes, it's been many years now, and I can just see the changes things were, quite bright when I came here, and I could see them getting a little dimmer and dimmer by the year. But we're here to fight uh, for our communities and for our members and for what we know is right. Um, let's face it, there's too many people out there wanting to become millionaires, and it's just destroying our economy. So if we can kind of, put a kind of a little leash on maybe some of that getting too blown out of proportion in the tiny ways that we can, by golly, that's what we're going to do. And as I mentioned, communication with our members, uh, working with our communications committee to ensure the timely, clear, and consistent communications regarding AMHO's updates, advocacy alerts, events, and opportunities. Knowledge is key, and I feel strongly that AMHO is a key to that knowledge. And with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to our zoning and overlay guru, Sharon.
Hello there. Thank you, Arthur. First, before I start, I have an important announcement to make. I'm excited to announce that we are finally going to have an AMHO meeting here in Vancouver, Washington, September 26th. We will have speakers loaded with updates and information all our communities should know, and you can have questions answered and connect with other manufactured homeowners over lunch. More details will follow as we prepare a great day for our communities. If you would like to volunteer, please connect with me. And my name is Sharon Peavy, and you may know me from handing out flyers in our communities. I'm a director with AMHO in the Southwest area. I joined about 5 years ago, trained under Ann Sadler, who is currently secretary with the National AMHO Association now. I live in Cascade Park in a gated community of 170 homes. Among many issues we addressed last few years, we currently worked on trying to halt our communities from being repurposed. By this, I mean as corporate monopolies buy and sell our properties with one thing in mind, which is making money for the landowners and their investors. We know that stability for home ownership in our communities is shaky. Apartments could bring in more money for investors. As I learn current updates, I realize just how fast security can change. With help from our communities, activists, and homeowners from our area, we testified for overlay protections. The overlays add more stability to halt our homes from being repurposed, hopefully, but still not a guarantee. The first hearing brought us much publicity from homeowners' testimonies, with an award of a 6-month moratorium protecting us from landowners even filing to purpose to use the land for anything but manufactured home communities. The second recent hearing brought us a 1-year moratorium to halt landowners from filing to repurpose us this time. We know we face other problems that will reoccur after this 1-year time. So we ask that our community members stay focused and ready to act. During the moratoriums, counselors explore land use regulations regarding the preservation of our parks. The county is on phase 2 of the Housing Options Study Plan. I won't go into these stages because of time, and each county and city draws up their own planning assessment according to their own area's needs. We hope in the future the county and the county and the city will work together for a more immediate planning solution for our communities. To sum this up, we could not be at this stage without the help of other communities showing up, giving their heartfelt testimonies when needed, and devoting their time and energy volunteering for what needed to be done. It's amazing what we can accomplish if we all stick together. Credits to you. People power wins. We are all in this together. We hope to see you next year on the steps of Olympia, chanting with our housing people, "This is what people power looks like." Thank you. And now I want to introduce Carolyn.
Thank you, Sharon.
Uh-huh.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Carolyn, and the Secretary of AMHO Board of Directors, and also serve as Secretary of the Leisure Manor Tenants Association in Aberdeen. If you had told me 35 years ago that saying yes to my pastor when he asked me to take minutes for our church administration council would lead me all the way here, I am not sure I would have believed you. But that simple act of service became the start of a journey I never expected. Fast forward a few decades, and our manufactured home park was sold to Hearst & Son, LLC. Like many of my neighbors, I felt the uncertainty of what that meant for our community. A group of us came together and formed the Leisure Manor Tenants Association, determined to protect our rights and make sure our voices weren't lost in the shuffle. I was elected secretary, and here I am now, serving my 5th term. My job started with taking minutes, accurate, detailed, thorough minutes, but it quickly grew into something much bigger. I found myself stepping into advocacy, stepping up not just for myself, but for every resident who needed someone to stand before them. I traveled to Olympia, I raffled, and I testified, sometimes in person, standing right in front of the legislatures and senators, and sometimes over Zoom. Staring into a little camera, but knowing the impact was just as real. Every time I spoke, I reminded myself that I wasn't just telling my story, I was carrying the stories of hundreds of people who deserved fairness and stability. Through that work, I met people from AMHO, and the more I learned about their mission, the more I felt at home. They believed in the same things I did: dignity, fairness, and the right for the manufactured homeowners to live without fear of sudden crushing and increases. 2 years ago, I was invited to join the AMHO Board of Directors, and last year I was elected secretary. In 2025, I was proud to stand on behalf of AMHO as we received the Housing Justice Ally Award. From the Washington Low Income Housing Alliance for our work at advancing rent stabilization. Later that year, I became represented AMHO at the SEIU 775 Caregivers Union Awards banquet, where we were honored with the Community Impact Award. And here that is. It's very pretty when the light shines through it. For our role in passing the rent stabilization bill. But my most unforgettable moment was joining all our green shirt advocates at the front of the room as Governor Ferguson invited us to witness the signing of HB 1217, the rent stabilization bill, becoming law right before our eyes. Today, I continue to advocate for rent fairness and tenant protection, and I continue to do what I've always done: document our work with care, accuracy, and heart. From my church to the Leisure Manor Tenants Association to AMHO, I've spent many years as a secretary, but more importantly, I've spent many years as a voice for people who deserve to be heard. It has been one of my greatest honors of my life to serve in these roles, and I look forward to continuing this work. Because when we stand together, when we speak up, and when we refuse to be silent, real change happens. Thank you for coming tonight, and I now turn this over to Deb.
Thank you, Carolyn. I'm Deb Wilson. I've been with AMHO for approximately a year, and I'm currently working with those living in Hearst and Son parks. If you or you know anyone that lives in a Hearst and Son park, please reach out to me. That's my specific area of expertise at this moment. I'm recently retired after 4 years as president of the Leisure Manor Tenants Association, and I will gladly assist you in forming your own association within your park. I also help with the Facebook group, where we would love to have you add photos, ask questions, and create an AMHO community. We also would love volunteer administrators for our AMHO, for our Facebook AMHO group. Thank you for coming tonight. Next time, bring your friends and join us for community, education, and activities. And I'll hand it over to Michael.
Hi, thanks, Deb. Hey, everybody. I want to thank you so much for joining us. My name is Michael Rolfe, and I am the Vice President of Communications for the AMHO Board of Directors. For those of you who haven't met me yet, I have been a homeowner in a park since 2008, and I am a resident in a Hearst & Son owned park. As many of you may know, they are one of the most habitual offenders of RCW 5920 in the state. So believe me when I tell you, I know the unique challenges we all face. I understand the anxiety over land security, the frustration of tyrannical managers, and the reality of unfair fees, community rules, and retaliatory acts. But I also know from lived experience that with the correct knowledge and information, any one of us can fight back against these offenders. I joined the AMHO board because I believe this information should be easily accessible to everyone so that you can exercise your rights as your best defense. When we're united and speak with one powerful, organized voice, we are way more effective in protecting our homes. My primary focus on the board recently has been helping AMHO move into a new era. We've realized that in order for AMHO to effectively assist, teach, and advocate for our rights, we had to modernize how we communicate, engage, and track information. That means I've been working behind the scenes to identify and implement the professional tools and systems that we've been missing. We are currently rolling out a new digital phone system, dedicated email work groups, and a cloud-based CRM, our customer relations management software. Soon, this will allow us to provide what many have been asking for, an online membership and payment portal, along with many other upgrades and ways for you to access information that AMHO has and that you need. These tools ensure that when you need that information to defend your rights, it's easy to find. And when the legislature needs to hear from us, we're ready to respond. These upgrades will make sure AMHO remains a high impact advocacy organization for every manufactured home park resident in Washington. We called this town hall because we wanted this transition to be transparent and inclusive. You, the member and friends of AMHO, are the most important part of this organization. We don't just want your membership, we also need your feedback. We want to engage you in this process and have you join us as volunteers working side by side. The board provides the structure, but you provide the purpose. We aren't just changing our technology, but really strengthening our community's foundation so that every homeowner in Washington will feel secure in their investment. Again, I want to thank everybody for being here, and I look forward to working with all of you in the future. With that, I'm going to turn it back to Arthur to move us forward to the next step here.
All right, thank you, Michael. All right, and I would like to say thank you to each of my fellow board members for sharing those updates. As you can see, we've been incredibly busy building the infrastructure for AMHO, and this needs to be a powerhouse for you in 2026. We're now going to move into our brief Q&A session. And before we begin, I got to read this different formal disclaimer, okay? This information provided during this town hall, including our answers to your questions, is for educational and advocacy purposes only. AMHO is not a law firm, and the board members speaking tonight are not providing legal advice. While we aim to provide accurate information regarding your rights under RCW 5920, every situation is unique. And for specific legal action or representation, we always recommend consulting with a qualified attorney. Now, as a reminder of how the rest of this session works, So we have a team that's been monitoring the host-only chat throughout the meeting, and he has selected the top 5 most asked questions to address live right now. If you haven't submitted your question yet, please do so now. And if we don't answer your question live, please don't feel ignored. Every single question in the chat is being saved. We'll be spending time over the next few days articulating thorough, accurate answers to all of them. And those answers will be posted on the AMHO website along with the recording of this meeting. So we're going to dive into the first question, and I believe it was my contact information. Michael, I don't have the 877 number. Do you have that briefly?
Well, I do. Our 877 number is 877 RCW 5920.
So go figure how he got a hold of that number. Okay. But and it's also, if you go to our www.wamho.org, our 877 numbers is on the contact information of that page. I left my cell phone in the other room so it wouldn't be ringing while we're doing this meeting. So that was one of the top questions. Was that a sufficient answer, Bill?
Well,
Okay.
I liked the answer. Can you hear me okay?
Oh yeah. Okay.
Good. So
Okay.
anyway, that was, somebody said that sharing your contact information would be valuable, especially since you are offering to travel to locations in Eastern Washington. So thank you very much for getting that.
Oh, you bet. You bet.
Okay. Here's another question. This one came in from Jerry, who's the president of the Kennard Association of Manufactured Home Owners. The owners have not yet indicated that the park's for sale. However, we believe they are preparing to do this in the near future. Therefore, we've organized to the point where we need knowledgeable counsel to be ready when it is for sale and or make an offer they can't refuse. Can you recommend whom we should contact? And who would like to take that question?
I can talk briefly on that. Really, I would like to get you in contact with the Department of Commerce and then also with ROC. Those are the 2 places that would be the most readily available organizations to help you be completely prepared to make your offer. And certainly we can do that and get you to the right place. Once again, all of our contact information in terms of each board member's email is on the website. And you can certainly reach out to any one of us. Mine is simply MROHL, F as in Frank, at wamho.org. And if you email me there with that information, I can try to get you the correct links and the right information to get you who you need to start with right away.
Okay, and just
wait a minute. I was going to say that he could also, or she could also put their email address in the chat, and you could send them some information that way.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that would be great too. Yes.
Okay, and I was going to mention that ROC stands for Resident-Owned Communities. There is a provision in RCW 59.20 for resident-owned communities. There are some processes that are part of the Revised Code of Washington and state law about how to buy your community rather than have a corporate landlord. That's all valuable information.
One thing that we can say about this too is there is money out there in other directions that you can be looking for. Department of Commerce will possibly have some information trying to find money to purchase. I've also heard of grants being given. So keep looking. You might find something that is free.
Okay, let me move on to the next question. I think this one should go to our treasurer. I joined AMHO last year and paid a fee. Is this annual? And if so, how do I pay my renewal?
Thank you for asking. Yes, we do have a $15 annual membership, and you should find a link on our website any day now.
Okay.
Otherwise, you can just mail in a check to our address. That's also on the website.
All right. I have a question here. Is the annual meeting virtually available? I would not be able to physically attend. Who would like to handle that question?
That's a good question. I'm glad you brought it up because I will put it on our agenda for the next meeting. We don't really have an answer for that right now, but if we have a Zoom meeting, they are recorded. And I don't know if we're going to have a Zoom meeting yet or not. We have to look at the equipment that'll be available to have a Zoom meeting.
Yeah, if I can add to that, it's something we definitely have discussed some to start here, and we're looking at more and more of those options even for the next one, where we may break it down into regions. As in, I am in Eastern Washington, and it is a long way to go to the annual meeting, and we completely understand that that we are a statewide organization, and sometimes it can be a long way to travel to go to one of these meetings. So,
thank you both. Here's one. Our board is challenging the park owner's decision that if we sell our homes, they can skip the 5% cap in Washington state and raise the rent for the new owners above the 5%. We are challenging this. And I believe Lori mentioned this in her opening statement, but I would like an expanded response. What is AMHO's thought regarding your standing on the 5% or for sales of homes going higher than 5%?
That's one of our top deals in the legislature next year. We're going to do something about that if we can. That was a mistake that ever got put in. What it does, it allows you to charge the market rate. Well, most of your owners don't know what market rate means. They mean that doesn't mean you can double the rent. And that's what's been happening because of the wording that they put in this bill. We've had owners try to raise it up to 100% of their rent. That is definitely unacceptable to us, and we're going to do everything, stomp the ground, anything it takes, because they can really take advantage of this, and it's not fair to us, and we're not going to stand by and allow this if we can stop it.
Definitely, Dick. And I'd like to add that RCW 59.20.380 is the piece of legislation that we're talking about. And there are very specific guidelines about notice and process. And I'd encourage you to read that because, for example, my park owners did not serve me proper notice, but they are trying to raise my rent 100%, and so is everybody else in the neighborhood.
Okay. And somebody who is listening to about potentially buying the manufactured home park as a co-op, which was the resident-owned communities, they missed hearing the email address. So if someone can provide that again, that would be good.
I am messaging that to someone who just asked me. I think that's the right person, as they asked me about it, but I can also verbalize it again. And once again, all of our email addresses, individual email addresses, are posted on the website under the Contact Us section. But mine again is MROHL, F as in Frank, at WAMHO.org.
Okay. Here is somebody talking about the Attorney General complaint system. That's the manufactured home dispute resolution system. This person that wrote in chat says the system is dysfunctional, leaving manufactured homeowners with no legal options in dealing with management, landlords, or park owners. Is anything being done to correct this issue?
So I can tackle that one. I work with the AG's office quite closely with the head of the Consumer Protection Division. And what I want everybody to know is that they most certainly are aware of their shortcomings. There are only 3 people who answer every single inquiry that comes in to the dispute resolution program. And their biggest difficulty is that they have to wade through a lot of disputes that they don't understand what the actual violation is, because it really hasn't been filled out correctly for identifying the right RCW that it is referring to. And so that takes a lot of time for them to kind of wade through that. I've discussed with them on how we might streamline that a little bit better to ensure that complaints that come over are a little more articulate as to exactly what they are, and that the AG's office doesn't have to search for those reasons or what the real meat of the situation is. But I also would like to be able to have AMHO offer some more assistance in exactly how to fill out a complaint and what to include. And that's something that we're going to be working on here. And that's probably one of the classes that we may have coming up here soon in a Zoom format like this, so that everybody can kind of go over and learn how to do the best kind of complaint to get it in and get it to move through the system a little bit faster. But bear in mind, the system is also going to continue to be slow. It is just like that because they're understaffed, but they are indeed dedicated to answering and resolving every single one of these that come in. It may just take longer than we all would have hoped, but they are doing their best, and they've really started to improve because it is under, I guess, new management, as we'll put it that way, and they're growing leaps and bounds to make it better.
The other thing that they were being overwhelmed with was things that they cannot deal with, like neighbor disputes or those kind of things. So make sure that when you file your complaint that it's something that they can handle over there.
Thanks. I'd like to add that the Attorney General's office has been extremely responsive to me. I'm in the middle of the complaint process right now, and I can volunteer to help you fill out a form if that's permitted. But I turned in my complaint, and 3 days later I had a response. So I just wanted to encourage you to go ahead and go through the process.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh,
And sometimes you get a complaint that, like for instance, a sewage complaint that I seen, it was underneath the lady's house that the main sewer line broke, and we actually got her a lawyer real quick, and got it fixed that way, because this isn't something that can wait 3 or 4 weeks to have a broken sewer line underneath your house that doesn't belong to you. And we did get the lady. Actually, they had to put her in a motel for a few weeks, and they got her stuff cleaned out. They had a whole bunch of work. But sometimes these emergency type like deals, the AG's office isn't really equipped to handle this. And sometimes it might be better to go to a lawyer, because a lawyer, if he's good and he takes the case, and especially one like that, he's going to win.
okay. I think we are getting to the end of our Q&A time here, so I'm just going to address one that I think might be of interest to a lot of you. How is our organization working on ADA issues? My understanding from the AG office is that owners are liable to meet federal standards. Anyone wants to address that?
Well, there's ADA is we have organizations that make wheelchair ramps into houses. And we've got several in our park, and I think most parks do have this, is to find the organizations that do this. I know that sometimes they're free, and it's a possibility. This would be the big thing, is getting into your house without having to climb steps.
Okay.
I don't know that we have, if I'm completely honest, I don't know that we have broached that subject, though, in terms of finding out exactly what landlords are responsible for ADA uh, portions of the park or not? And that's a great question. I don't think I had really even thought about that, and it's definitely something that we should probably dive into and find out some more about.
Well,
We actually got a handicap parking area for our park because the office is a business and they did not have handicap parking, and it is required. So they do have to follow the handicap procedures and that. So make sure that you contact what is senior assistance group or senior centers near you should
Senior
know who to. What was that?
Senior and Disability Services.
Yes, yeah.
I'd like to add to that, though, Deb, that for some reason they have taken away the handicap sign. So there's no handicap parking at the clubhouse again.
We're going to have to fight that
I
because
know.
they have to have one.
Okay. And my experience was it was about as far away from the ramp into the clubhouse as you could get. It should logically be right where the ramp is. So anyway,
there's a whole bunch
I-
of questions on that ADA deal that you could ask, because
yeah.
trying to get into your house is important, but a lot of other limiting factors that you have to look to the outside groups to get some information. You're not going to get it out of the owners most of the time.
Okay. And we're getting a lot of things in the chat, and we're going to run out of time to address them in this town hall, but we're saving every one of those. And we will be reaching out to the people who raised the questions and get your answers to you. And I really appreciate all of the comments that were coming in. One more I'm going to throw out here. Who owns the trees in the park? Many are decades old and make the place very comfortable, but now we are expected to trim, etc. They used to do that before, but now they don't. And I will add to that there are some parks where there's nice, big, beautiful trees that in a severe windstorm could fall on people's homes.
I have this all the time in my park, and Hurst and Son, the owner of our park, has decided rather than question who owns the tree, we'll take every single tree that existed out of the park altogether. So that's tough, but this is an ongoing debate, even in the AG cases. It's your responsibility to maintain your lot, which would include, in most cases, any tree that would be on that lot in terms of maybe trimming it, although the tree actually does belong to the park itself, because they own the whole space. And so it's back and forth in that it really a lot of times comes down to what was the language of your lease.
Well, sometimes the trees get to the point that the owners are beyond seniors' ability, and the park really needs to step up and take over in them situations, because a tree that's high probably was there long before you were in your house. And we've had trees that we've been lucky in our park that we have a grove of cottonwood trees, and believe me, those things can make a real mess. And we've been after them, and slowly they're starting to get rid of them. But it's something that you want to take pictures of, you want to document, you want to take pictures of it, you want to keep track of it. When a limb falls off and falls down, you want to take a picture of that and just turn it into the AG's office and just keep it going.
Should that be in the rules and regs for each park?
It might be. It's dependent on which park. What I will say is that if you know that tree is most definitely in a common area or along a roadside, it's not on anybody's particular lot, the answer is really easy. It's the park's responsibility. Period.
Yeah, in our park, the cottonwood trees are on a hill, and if they fall down, guess what? They split houses in two. So it is also a safety hazard. It can be a safety hazard.
All right. Well, I think this is a good spot for me to do my closing statements here. Can you hear me there? Yeah, okay. Okay, this concludes our 5 questions for this evening. Again, if yours wasn't called, please check the website for meeting recording and the Q&A answers. And before we sign off, I want to reiterate that it is AMHO's goal is to move toward being a more engaging hands-on resource. In the coming months, look forward to more of our town hall meetings like this one to keep you updated, educational classes on how to navigate RCW 5920, training sessions on how to effectively organize your own local communities. And we'd like to leave you tonight wanting more, because there is more coming. We need your energy, your feedback, and your volunteer spirit to make this work. Remember, should you need to get in touch with us at any time, you can find our toll-free number, our direct email, and contact form all in one place at www.wamho.org. We look forward to starting this new chapter with all of you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your commitment to your homes. And we look forward to seeing you at our next session. All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you.